so did that. So proud of him. So he implemented his academic with his extracurricular, his sports, and his jujitsu, and he implemented all that and created an SOP. Although he went to go work for the State Department, and then he went on going into law school at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. He's there now. Dude, he still does it. He's a brown belt now.
Oh. So Polina, you have the youngest kids. I think the only thing that your kids are doing are beating up other kids in pre-K, and you send them to school with a lunchbox. They actually come home with the same lunchbox. How yours is different?
Yeah, absolutely. People know not to mess with them. Like, oh, she's so fat. We come home with extra snacks sometimes. I don't ask questions. I just accept it.
I'm going away from that. Have you all ever heard of the sports mom's prayer? Okay, if you guys will oblige me. Lord, help me remember I'm having fun. The chaos, the rushing, the meals on the run. Don't let us forget the equipment we need and not get delayed so I don't have to speed. May I cheer even if my child is bitched or it's raining or snowing and I'm cold and drenched. And may I not right in mid-game stop to think, oh no, I forgot it's my day for drinks. For I know it's important to show my support, to be there for my kids as their youth is so short. I thank you for having this time with them, Lord, for being a sports mom is its own reward. What say you?
I think that's a lie. I'm sorry. I don't feel rewarded. I think they're rewarded. And my goal is to set a foundation for them of healthy living, success, working hard, all of that. I don't see this as fun. The fun part is yelling at people at the game. Me driving them there is not fun.
It's a full-time job. It's another full-time job.
It's not fun. I sit in the car. I tried to grade papers at a track meet one time. I almost passed out. I couldn't see my laptop from the glare of the sun. Then I was sweating. My laptop's overheating. It was too much. That's not fun. Okay. That is necessity for my babies. That's what I call it.
Absolutely. And then all the laundry that you have to do, the packing up, making sure you have snacks. Also snack duty for other kids. Snacks. That's my least favorite part because you know what?
And please
why can't we just buy our own stuff?
The fun is being quiet in the corner and when my kid someone's butt and they're like, whose kid is that?
Oh, I don't say anything. I just walk next to them and then cheer for my son. So they know that's my child. No, it's been years. I need them to understand now. Okay, he's old now. I need them to understand after a decade of seeing them.
Okay, I got one here that I'm.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new app and searching for a fave fiend. New fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones. They gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out.
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 143. Moms for the Win with our guests, Raquel, Polina, and Seryna. It sounds like a 90s girl group that I got here.
I see it.
I want to call it the Headlock Girls. I mean, what? I don't even know what to call you. One's tired. A black belt.
Call us tired.
One's got a kid in medical school. One's got a national champion in judo. Like I'm a little intimidated here. I normally crack jokes at other people's expense. I won't be doing that. Nope, not doing it. Not gonna do it. But ladies,
we're the fighters.
Yeah, I see that. I'm gonna wait until I get the volleyball moms on or something.
But you know what? I will be non-violent. It's the reason why I have 3 boys.
Oh,
I shouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's right. Wait a minute, Raquel. You've got 2 boys and 1 girl. That girl took 2nd in the state just here recently.
She did. Yes, she did. I'm proud of her for being runner-up. Yes.
That's wrestling for those who don't know. Does that mean, just like Seryna said, you could keep your hands clean and you could just say, because for those who don't know, Raquel is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Black belt. I want y'all to get your little Google fingers, ask around, go to some studios, go find me a mom, go find me a lady that's a black belt. I'll wait.
I know of one other person, one. And I only know that is because she was a sister. She is a sister in the mosque. And I remember when she was going through her trials at the, I think she had to go through all these tests. But it was at like the convention center. It was somewhere major in Atlanta. Oh. So it was like test over days. She would go back and do this test and then do that one until she earned it. So that is, I know how phenomenal that is.
It took me 15 years to get it. Yes.
Yes.
So, Seryna, you may not know this. You and Raquel live in the same state. Would you remember that lady's name? It's a small world.
Right.
I want to shoot the shot.
Deandra, her first name. It was something like that, but I can get her name because I know the sister. It's not that many women, and she's a Latina woman.
I am
the lady I know. Real small.
No, Raquel is also.
I am
Yep.
also.
Real small frame. You wouldn't even believe she's as deadly as she is.
In my mind, Raquel, you're like 6'7". I actually don't even know your dimension. Are you? I'm 5'6". Are you taller than me?
No, I'm 5'4" and 3/4 and about 150. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Raquel, he almost said dimensions.
I know.
You don't have dimensions.
We have very big. Our sport is very big into weight classes, and we're very comfortable with what we talk about our weight. So I'm 148, and I'm 5'4" and 3/4. If I have shoes on, I'm 5'5". So,
Raquel, my older boys wrestle.
Yeah, and my daughter is 5'3" and 110. So,
wow.
Yeah, she's small.
Wait.
Yeah,
that was me for years. For a very long time.
Yeah, so now I'm curious, Raquel, what happens if she passes you and now she's looking down on you? You think that the chances are there?
The chances would be there. I also have a child who is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu who's 6'4" and 250. So the thing is like she is done growing. We know that for a fact. She's about to be 17 years old and she's done growing. She's a small petite girl, but she will kick your butt. And it's either one.
Nope. Not gonna mess with her. I want to make sure. And then even if I thought I wanted to handle her, she has a brother that's 6'4". You said brown belt?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
He was a state placed wrestler too, as well in high school.
Oh my gosh.
We don't hear much about him because he's in law school right now. So I leave him alone. But people don't realize like we have another child. We have 3 of them that fit through the belt system of jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So
that's actually something I wanted to get to a little bit later here. So just remind me to come back because that I want to call it the familial path. And I want to see what you guys think about the familial path. It sounds like it's a mystical thing that I hear from that no 2 kids can walk the same path. I believe that's a little bit of malarkey, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah. Yes.
So the very first thing I wanted to ask, Seryna dropped off. I know she'll get back on. We'll get that one figured out there. What was your first sport you picked up when you were a kid? Let's go alphabetical order. LMNOPQR. So, Polina, what was your first ever sport you picked up when you were a kid?
In my memory, it's soccer, only because that's the only sport I remember actually being on an organized team. I did a lot of sports-oriented camps, but it was more of a introduction to camps, and it's not really the type of camps you think about nowadays where they're all focused on technical and specialization. It was Los Angeles in the 90s, led by a bunch of people from the former Soviet Union. So there it was just a way to gather us all and go to various parks, do activities, keep us busy. But soccer was the sport that I remember actually being on a team on in high school.
Oh, we're going to get to this one. Raquel, I want you to answer this one. She just told us something that I need to know your response to, Raquel. So, Polina, I already know that the stereotype is your coaches, that soccer coach was doing nothing but screaming at you at the top of their lungs the entire time. Am I right?
You're not. We actually had nice coaches.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I'm sorry. Raquel.
So mine was track and field. I was a very good relay racer and a hurdler.
Wow.
Yeah. Hurdles.
So,
yeah.
that's a shock to me. I I didn't know that. Wait, so did any of the kids follow in that path, and are you broken up about it?
I am a bit, because I feel like Izzy is really talented in running. She loved cross country and found a passion for running. And me and her would go on runs since she was 5 years old, growing up throughout her teenage years. And then she decided to join her cross country team at school. And when she came back and said, I don't really like it, I need to focus on wrestling. That's when I was heartbroken, and I was like, oh, I love running with you though. So yeah, I was a runner and a hurdler, and I loved all the track and field things to do. Shot put, I did shot put. I did relay races, 500 meters, 1,000 meters. Like I loved track. So yeah.
Wow, that's yeah. I always wonder if parents always want to push for legacy.
Yeah,
I get it. You got to do it.
Hey, she's talented in both, but it helped her endurance doing that sport. You should always let your kids try other sports and not force them into what you want them to do, but, figure out what's best for them.
Okay, Raquel, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing, mama with a black belt. I'm not disagreeing. Please, why are you raising your voice? I'm not trying to make you mad.
Yeah, I had no idea I was a grappler. So.
Okay. But what I would like to say, without disagreeing with a black belt, I know she's got a mom that's got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so I already know she's in that. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And she took second in the state in wrestling.
Yes.
And you said she did cross country. She's a good runner.
Yes.
What is your favorite of all of those that she does?
I love the wrestling so much.
No. But you didn't wrestle growing up, right? I
did not. I married into wrestling, so yeah.
Wait, what makes it so appealing? I am confused and intrigued right now. And I got a question about this we were gonna get to later, but while we're on it, what's the draw? What do you like so much about wrestling?
That it's an individual sport. It's all eyes on you, and the work that you put in is the effort that you get out, and the output that is presented as far as, winning or losing is all on you. And you really have to have that dedication by yourself. It's not a team sport as per se to like football, baseball, whatever they have got going on with team sports. But I do understand the dedication that my daughter personally puts into these effects that just present forward to, like, you see her work so hard and diet so hard and train so hard to get into those final matches. And it just gives you that gratification as a parent to see that what she has put in. And that is what gives me the satisfaction as a mother, to see that I have supported her in that role and given her the support she needed that other people couldn't give.
Oh, I like it. All right, Polina, you already know what the question is. So your daughter won a national championship in judo. She does BMX. She does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She wrestles. You have her doing volleyball and softball. What's your favorite sport that she does?
I am going to go with soccer and tennis, because I'm going to be stereotypical over here.
Yeah, that sounds very Russian-y to me. Not a real word, Raquel.
But also because I am very opposite from Raquel. I'm not a fan of physical contact. So I think that's why I am not really, those are not my favorite sports for her. She can still do it, but she's my daughter. So physical contact, and her and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to that.
But she seems to be excelling in, even though she may not like the contact. Oh,
she likes to win. If there's a trophy or a medal involved, she's going for it.
Okay.
Yeah, the extrinsic motivation is very real.
Yeah, that I understand. Okay, sports moms. Here's some things that I have to go. I'm gonna I'm going to go a little it's all point of view here. So don't worry. Whatever works for you may not work for others. You feel free to just tell us how you do it. But the second thing that I wanted to go over for our sports moms can you guys help me with some quick dinner ideas? How do you guys do this? How are you guys pulling this off? Because when I grew up, there kind of was this thing where we were kind of trying to have dinner every night at like 6 p.m. But I know that's all out the window with y'all. Seryna, could you start us off? How y'all eating?
Did you say how do we eat?
Yes.
Well, I can say now they're pretty bougie with their diet.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is probably a sore moment.
They're pretty bougie, but in the beginning, I can tell you that we used to have sandwiches in the car because I would feed them dinner. I had a schedule. I would feed them dinner like 5 something, and then they would have practice at 6, which was not the best method. But by the time we were on our way home from practice, they're starving.
Yeah.
So we had sandwiches in the car, and then I think they got too old and they decided that the sandwiches weren't sufficient. So they were eating a whole nother meal when we got home, and then showers were getting later. And I'm someone with a schedule. When my babies were little or younger, they were in bed at a decent hour because I'm going to have some time at the end of the night.
I don't even. Okay, Seryna, how old is your oldest?
He's 20 now. He'll be 21 in October, November.
Okay, so Raquel, with your kid in law school, unless your kid is Doogie Howser, I know Polina's not going to get that reference. but I guess for you, Raquel, you have the oldest. Raquel, tell them how y'all used to do it back in the day.
So he's 24 years old now, but we waited and had children in between, and my youngest is in middle school now. So throughout the years, our diet is different because of the weight that are involved, and you have to maintain weights.
Oh.
My oldest child, who's in law school now, he was a 220 or heavyweight, whatever the team needed at the point. But now with my younger ones, we have to prep our meals on Sunday afternoon after church. We get everything laid out. If they're not able to gain any weight, we have very strict menus for them. I prep their breakfast, lunch, and dinners and snacks. So they have boxes made. We have bento boxes. We have things like grilled salmon, tuna, chicken, very high protein diet. And we don't have a lot of carbs and high sugar. Do maintain a very healthy high protein diet so they don't gain the weight. Maybe it would be beans in addition to maybe one corn tortilla with a grilled chicken, a couple of grilled chicken strips. But my older son, who was older and he was heavier, he could eat a little more, heavier things because he could afford it. But these younger two are wanting to maintain lower weight classes. So our dinners come from meal prepping. So, and I'm the one who meal preps, and we all sit down and we all do it together. We'll set out, you'll see 20 trays out on the table. Bake the salmon, we grill the fish, we grill the chicken, and then we all help each other lay it out. So it's not just all on me. They want to be healthy. So it's just different. And the mentality of if you want to be a state champ versus a regional champ.
That is extensive. And I'm not gonna lie, Raquel. I'm not upset they left wrestling. My babies left wrestling when they were, I think, 8 and 7 or something, somewhere around, really young, but they had won these tournaments and we had traveled, but the politics got involved.
Yeah, that's
then I had parents that were swearing up and down that my oldest child wasn't the age that he was.
Terrible.
And I'm like, look at his teeth. I said his dental records tell everything. He doesn't have certain teeth, which means he is a certain age. So they didn't get that logic though. He was on a poster. One time he had bent someone, I don't know what he did, but it looked abusive, but he bent them over backwards, inside out. And then he had them pinned. I think they should have stopped it, but they didn't. And they made a poster out of it and sold the poster and used it for their advertisements.
Wow.
Yeah. While I was fighting about his age.
When in the beginning of the season, we're not so strict. It's towards when you're hitting into regional, sectionals, and state is when we get strict and ask them, do you want to do this? If so, do you want us to handle your diet? Do you want to do this? It's not something we're forcing upon them. So that's important to say to other. it's not. So, and when you get to this level, because my daughter's on the national women's wrestling team for Team Georgia, so that's like a whole level of wrestling. You're committed to a team that's not they depend on you in making that weight. So if you have to maintain that weight, if you miss that weight, you're screwing up a whole national team in the slot that you wasted. So we have to like really be strict with that weight, you know?
Oh, I completely understand. I think it's phenomenal that you have the discipline and the organizational skills.
My older son, he was like just a
listen. That's amazing. But I get the food because we eat lighter for track.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that we add in as we get closer to competition is what we eat normally. So I didn't have to do as much of the changes. And then honestly,
it's like it's hard to watch them too be hungry. It's hard to watch.
I know. But you know they're not going to starve, right? Nobody starved to death in 24 hours.
Starve, you eat all the beans, you ain't gonna starve. But it happens, you know, like no eat them all, and you're like, no, eat them all, you know. But
now, this is the part I gotta come in before we get to you, Polina. Actually, I'm gonna lead this one for you, Polina. I coach softball. I know you got a kid in softball. Y'all don't be looking at y'all's diet in softball. In softball, it's all right. In fact, they want them ladies to be just even a little bit thicker because they think it means you're gonna hit that ball a little farther. Am I right, Polina? Y'all get to eat normal. Am I right?
I mean, I have the under 7 crew, so we have the very fast metabolisms and the bouginess in terms of they only eat particular things and they're always hungry. So I'm a snack bag mom all the time. But yes, unfortunately, in softball, you see some body types that they use the sport to say like, oh, it's okay to do that. Whereas in other sports, you would have a regiment or you would be more focused on the fuel you put into your body. So, you know, I guess it's always been accepted. So that's what we're sticking to. We like to keep things the way they were, even though we live in a nation where, unfortunately, you know, we're on the bigger end, and that's not always the healthy end. So, but what Raquel and Seryna just told me, that's my future. Right now, I'm living in the now. I'm living in the no.
Your grocery goes down when they can't eat.
Yeah. For me, technically, it goes up because I have to buy like more expensive things like salmon.
No.
That are like asparagus, things that you to eat healthier is actually more expensive, and I hate that, you know.
Raquel, you said something there. I'm not your kid. If your husband's nearby, ask him if he's willing to adopt. You said that there's a state championship path. I want to be on that path, Mama West. Please put me on that path. Yeah. I want to be a state champion. What I got to do in Georgia? Hey, stereotypically, now I'm big in Mexico for some reason, but there are people all over the nation that's going to be listening to this. Yeah. Georgia is a state known for athletes, not a stereotype.
Yes,
in Georgia,
we have the most D1 recruits in our state. So,
oh.
Very big deal here. It's very competitive. There are pathways to get to those levels if you want, but you have to be willing as a mother to put that in and give up a lot of your own personal time to, you know, feed into your child and understand that that's what they want to do. Now, it has to be something that they're passionate about. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Okay, I'm coming back to that. I won't lose that. I want to switch to another thing. Mamas, tumblers for all of our sports moms. How many tumblers y'all got? You got Raquel, you got a BJJ, you got a wrestling tumbler, you got a cross country track tumbler. Mama Muhammad, you got like what? You got cheer, you got basketball, you had football, one was a wrestler. Do y'all have a bunch of tumblers?
Don't forget track, because I've coached track for 9 years.
So ladies, how do y'all represent? Like, how do you get to show when you're around other parents who are specializing in one sport? How do y'all blend in and be like, yo, I'm all in for y'all? How do y'all do that? Seryna, you start first. How do y'all blend in?
I don't blend.
Oh.
I don't blend. So my personality is not that of a blender. Okay. My personality is an individual ingredient that stands alone on the side. So that's how I operate. I can't do too many tumblers because apparently I leave stuff everywhere I go. Last week, I got back a sweatshirt that was in the lost and found for the past year. I got my book bag that had earbuds, medicine, everything you could think of. It was at the track. So I leave stuff. And some of the stuff I own, I might loan it out and forget who I gave it to. So I don't even buy the expensive tumblers because I buy something cheap in case I lose it. So I don't represent that way because if I did, I'd be broke.
Okay.
More broke. Let's say it that way.
I gotta know then. I think this is the one. This is the one right here. Raquel, you don't even have sports tumblers. You got a kid in law school. You walking around with law school t-shirts. That's where you lead with, right? Am I right? You don't even talk about the other kids.
I do. It's funny because a lot of people don't know that my law school kid exists. So it's so Izzy started in tumbling and gymnastics and dance first. Harry, no matter what, always said when I was pregnant with her, he's like, what am I supposed to do with the girl? She's going to wrestle and do jiu-jitsu too. I was like, all right. So he started doing like things with her legs before she could walk, you know, pretty much same you with your daughter, you know, bringing her in and training and doing things at a very young age. Thank you. And ended up, kind of gravitating towards the jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So the tumbling portion kind of implemented with the roles in jiu-jitsu. So it really helped, you know, as far as that was concerned. But she gave up her tumbling and was like, I want to fight. So, you know, it depends on the attitude of the child as well.
So Raquel, I hope these other parents, in this case, sports moms, please, dads, do not roll up on Mama West. But all right. So when you're at her cross country meets and you're rooting her on and she's just ripping around, does anybody kind of look cross or say anything like, well, if she wasn't wrestling on that mat so much?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something that's it's something we struggled with as a family with the school. So she's in high school, right? And she was on the cross country team and the wrestling team. The particular high school she goes to didn't agree with her not giving 110% towards wrestling or 110% towards the cross country. So she had this internal struggle, and she didn't tell me about it until I could see it in her face where she was upset. She had 5:30 workouts with cross country. Then she would go to wrestling at 7 and then straight to school after that. And then she would have after school cross country and after school wrestling. And she was starting to drain herself so much where I was like, what's going on? You know, she's like, well, my coaches say, oh, that's okay. Do you think that you might want to quit wrestling? You seem to be really good at cross country. Maybe you don't want to do wrestling. So she didn't have the good support systems in either sport. And so they both made her feel she needed to pick one or the other. My daughter felt she was more exclusive to wrestling than cross country, which was unfortunate because she could really be a good asset on the cross country team. She was amazing, but she gave up the cross country to pursue her wrestling aspirations with that school particularly. So this year was her first year she wasn't on cross country because she felt she didn't have the support from either program.
Which is a fail. As a youth sports coach, I want the best talent. And then I also think back in the Stone Ages, I'm from up north. And up north, when it's cold, we have this thing called indoor track because it's cold. And indoor track is the same time as wrestling. But my coaches didn't give me a hard time because they were like, all right, I know you're getting your work. Well, you're not here with us. You working on your stamina with the track team. So we good with that. And then, but that was my school. That was in Virginia.
But Doug,
and they got along.
Yeah.
But Doug, as a coach, we don't do dual sport athletes.
God.
I can tell you, my son was a jumper in track. You can't give your all to the workout and the training for jumping if you're giving your all to the workout and the training for basketball. When you get to a certain level, you can't do those. You can't do both because you're pulling your body in two different directions. So even in youth track, we have the parents let us know if they're playing anything else because we don't want to overwork them. But one sport is always going to speak against the other sport because they don't complement. Basketball does not complement track. When we get them, they are stop and start runners. Wrestling takes a lot of focus, muscle, core strength. They're not going to want you to do too much else. No. But even in track, if you're a pole vaulter, you don't do other events too much because the workout and the training for pole vault takes so much from you that you don't have energy and muscle strength for the other events. So I can see why when she got to a good level and she was phenomenal, why they said, nope, we're not doing both sports. She got to choose because they both are pulling in different directions and she can get injured.
Number 2 in states isn't too bad.
No, she's great.
So, Polina, do you get a chance to kind of, I saw you gestured when Seryna said it, but I don't want to say I know the answer. What do you do when it's time to blend? When you're with the soccer moms, are you screaming as loud as the soccer moms and trying to make sure your kid is making the right play, even though you got a wrestling kid or a jiu-jitsu kid? How do you blend?
I don't blend. I'm always sitting in the wrong portion of the soccer field with the opposing team. or I'm sitting like by the corner kick areas because I want to make sure I can see everything and not be too close to people. I like my personal space. But no, I usually am also yelling in a foreign language. So I think I scare the people around me. Or if the coach is too far, like in soccer, and the girls can't hear her, then I'm just yelling at them. Purple, get in front of the gray, get in front of the gray, but making sure it's in English and not, too individualized to my daughter. But I don't blend because I don't like all the softball moms and their grievances about how 2 practices a week is too much. I don't know. That's not too much. Like you should see my Google calendar for all my sports. So the other thing is I've never blended in any aspect of my life. At no age have I ever blended. I don't fit in. So my kids don't fit in. It's fine. The earlier you understand that you don't fit in, the better you are in life. You won't disappoint others. You won't disappoint yourself. You'd be like, whatever, I'm cool. It's my life. We'll keep moving. So that means I don't own gear that says wrestling mom or BJJ mom. And then I don't have, also Donato, it's 2024. We don't use the term tumblers anymore. We use the term Stanley Cup or fake Stanley Cup and not the hockey cup. So that you went wrong there. Come on. But I don't have any personalized tumblers fake Stanley Cups because also my little bosses have told me that there is nothing that is mine in the house. It is theirs. So it's just subject to repossession from day one. So
okay. I want to go to point of view for you guys on this. On holidays, do y'all get to enjoy your holidays, or are there camps that y'all go to that they're doing, especially since we got multiple sports over here? Or in your case, Seryna, you're coaching. I know Mama West is also still coaching with her black belt. But what are the holidays like? Because the rest of us, that's a day to kick back, put your feet up. But something tells me y'all running the camps and things like that. Let's start with you, Mama Black Belt. What y'all doing on holidays?
So usually during the traditional fall winter holidays, that's a heavy wrestling season and jiu-jitsu. So we're having competitions happening. So you have to watch your weight. So you can't eat during those holidays like normal people can eat. Yeah. So we watch, don't offer as much food as traditional families would have. So we have camps going on and we want to send them to camps, or we have competitions happening. They call usually like Thanksgiving's like turkey duels or something, something to do with the holiday season. So it is hard. And it's hard to watch your children as a mother. You want to give them that traditional aspect of, it's known for Thanksgiving is known for food. And in the wrestling and jiu-jitsu community, it's known as that's not the time to eat. It's maybe the day after the tournament, then we can like have a celebration. But it's hard as a mother to give that that so I do limit what I cook and what I do, and we have just the day off to maybe rest, but that day, actually turkey day, would be like a turkey duel, so we really don't have to cook. So
Polina, you said your Google calendar, your Gmail calendar is packed. Come on. You just want to relax, kick
I
back.
do. I do want to relax.
Sit down in front of the TV.
But
Does that happen?
No, because my co-parent has this great idea to like always stay busy. And I have an anecdote because one time he suggested a camp on somebody's birthday. And to this day, she will not let me live down how I never do anything fun for my birthday. And I said, well, you got to go to a baseball camp. And she's like, that wasn't fun.
I don't know how you can say that and think that it was fun, but in her defense, it didn't sound fun. I know it was.
The other thing is, I'm sorry, it wasn't just one camp. She had 2 camps. In the morning, it was baseball, and in the evening, it was tennis. And the co-parent was like, "Oh, well, it's free, but this girl will have to get rushed to have her cake and pizza in the middle of her birthday."
Well,
and it's my fault somehow.
Are more for you, Polina. Their birthdays are yours. They don't get to celebrate birthdays until they have their own children. We did the work on their birthday. They ain't do anything but sleep. They cried and they slept. Okay.
No, I like your point. I like your point, but I still had to go attend the camps too, so it was not like a fun day for me either.
All right.
Mother's Day is the day that I don't get. Mother's Day is states for track. That's our state competition. It always is on Mother's Day weekend. Always. Father's Day, basketball. We are always at basketball on Father's Day. My middle son hasn't celebrated his birthday in like 4 years. 5 years. I'm telling you, because he's always somewhere. He turns 18 this year. This is the first year that we've celebrated his birthday since he was preteen.
Wow.
Because he's always traveling. He's not usually with us.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question. I need to know you guys' answer. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? I don't drive a car. I drive a portable locker room.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to start.
Mama West?
Part-time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
A little different.
Again, tell me if you've heard this. Mama Seryna, you said you have 2 boys and you have a girl, 3 boys.
3 boys and a girl.
3 boys and 1 girl. So Mama Seryna, I'll start with you. Has anybody said this or asked you this question? Are you worried about your daughter being too much like a boy playing these sports?
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. There's some sports that I don't completely steer my daughter towards because unfortunately they've taken the fun out of it. It's become more of a breeding ground for females that feel like they aren't feminine enough. So then they buy in. You can be any type of female you want to be. I'm not super girly. You're not. But I can tell you my daughter came out not super girly. But I can tell you, being a counselor also, basketball, we've had some experiences with the females in basketball, even at a young age. And that's unfortunate because it takes the sport out of it. It takes the fun out of it when it becomes about sexuality.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about my daughter being too masculine because she is going to be who she is. And I'm not that mom. I'm not the makeup, the nail polish. That's not me. I'm a sports mom through and through. That's why I'm still a football mom and nobody plays football.
Mama Black Belt, are you worried about your daughter being too much like a boy?
So I will tell you a funny story. My husband, when she was young, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, he said to me one day, he said, do you think I'm pushing her too much into these grappling sports that's going to make her be a lesbian? And I was like, what? About?
He's from the South, ain't he? He's from the South.
I've heard that, Raquel. I've heard that before.
He from the South. Where your husband from? He from the South, ain't he?
We're from the South. So
that's a Southern boy right there.
he was so worried at first. I was like, well, we're teaching her to defend herself. That's all I'm worried about right now at this age. But as the years have progressed, he particularly had more of a concern about it than I did as a mother. Yeah. I just wanted her to learn to defend herself. And we're in the business of, development of self-defense, and protecting yourself. So as she's grown older, she has proven to me that you can be both feminine and masculine. She can beat any boy's butt. She works out like a boy. She is very detrimental to many boys, but she will paint her nails and make sure she has pink on her fingernails when she gets her hand raised.
So, like Raquel, let me co-sign that and say that you don't have to be soft to be a female. You don't have to be super girly to be a female. I need everybody watching to understand.
Yes, she is.
You can be a bad girl.
Miraculous. Like, she is very muscular, very feminine at the same time. So you can be both. And you can. I just heard a nurse at work yesterday say to me, "Hey, so I asked my son if he knew your daughter." And I said, "Oh yeah, does he know her?" And she's a junior in high school. He's like, yeah, they're in a class together. And she told me, the boy told his mother, "Oh, Izzy West, you know her?" She's like, "Well, I know her mother." And he goes, "Well, that girl can be any boy's butt. I wouldn't mess with her."
Oh man.
So, the reputation precedes her. She's a beautiful young woman who is a very feminine, but she will kick your ass. So there you go.
No thanks.
So take out the masculine. She's not masculine. Females are tough too.
Yes.
Females are tough, and we've been tough for years and years and years.
She is the only female on her all males team. She had to be
nice.
So yeah,
wow.
She many boys to be a varsity position. So that is the thing. She has beat many boys to be on the varsity slot for our all males team.
Wow. Man, that kicks butt. Well, okay, Polina, what say you? I know has someone asked you, are you worried about your daughter being too much like a boy?
So they didn't ask me. They told me they were worried that my daughter was going to be too much like a boy. I have 2 girls and 1 boy, and my girls are very opposite. One is all about the dresses, the princesses. One is like, please don't put a dress on me. I don't like that. But will also enjoy wearing jewelry, and told me about her 4 crushes at school. So I'm not.
Polina, is that the oldest one?
Yeah.
See, yes. I knew it.
Yes, she's the one that said, I don't want no dresses, but again, let me make a bracelet. Can I give this to my crush?
Wow.
But just like Seryna was talking about, I can put myself together, but for the most part, I'll go to these games and I'll just walk out in something that probably some kid tried to stain right as I walked out the door. Again, given my demographic is very, very small, young, and doesn't understand the concept of keep your hands to yourself. So I will walk out just like that. But also I myself was captain of a co-ed soccer team. So it's majority boys. And then we always played boy teams because there was nobody else who had girls on their team. It was just us. So I'm used to being around the boys, and then, okay, well, I can be tough too. I can run and chase you and push you down. And so that's how my kids are. That's how my girls are. And they'll be okay. They'll be okay because they know at the end of the day, they remind me I'm a girl and so is a boy. So
okay.
They'll be okay.
How about this, ladies? Has this happened to you then? You and another sports mom, you guys are friends because your daughters played volleyball on the same team back in 2010. just as an old example, here we are in 2024. Has that happened? I'll start with you, Seryna. And I know you have more boys than girls, so I will switch that for the boys too. But was there a point where you still got someone in your circle, a friend, because y'all kids played together years ago?
Yes, we still. That's I use the term friend loosely because I'm not really I've been focused on my family for 2 decades. So there wasn't space for extra people. Okay. But yes, we're friendly, we're interactive. I can tell you that my son's friend group, there are still some of them to this day we see. The boys will see me, and I have no idea who these people are sometimes because they're mannish, but they'll come to me and they'll hug me and talk to me, and I just act like I know them. And then when they leave, my husband will be like, "Who was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know if he was with the oldest or the second one. I don't know." But yes, that is very much the case. That's because you find friends with something in common.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where else are you going to find them? We are sports mom. The difference between a mom that has a child that plays the sports and a sports mom is I know the plays. I know the calls. I'm going to call it before the ref calls it. And then if I really get excited, I'm going to call stuff from other sports and I'm just going to blend them together to make it more interesting. But my logic, like in Jay's videos, even as this old, a 17-year-old, you can hear my voice yelling in most of them because I feel like as much as I pay to watch my child play a sport, I bring you here. Why am I paying to watch him? Well, that gives me right to yell at the refs. Ooh, so that's what I do.
I'm coming back.
I called Amazon. I'm gonna get a shirt and a whistle.
I got one of those. I'm gonna get to the pay later, ladies. This is gonna be good. Raquel, do you have any friends because your kids played with those people on the same team years ago?
So unfortunately, I don't have that experience because my daughter is a pioneer in the grappling sports. So there's not very many girls that are in our circle of friends who have other daughters who grapple. So she is very much a coach to the little girls that are coming in now, trying to build that. So I'm friends with like the little girls' moms who are trying to get them to do competitions and be involved. But I don't really have camaraderie with other girls' moms. But I do have a camaraderie with other moms who, like my older one who's in law school now, who's 24, almost 25, with those moms who knew nothing about wrestling at the time. And I educated them about this, maybe the sports counting and the system and what points were. And I'm still friends with all of them because they maintain their friendships throughout their wrestling. Like even after high school, they graduated, a lot of them are still friends. And so friends on Facebook and we see each other. So as far as that's concerned, like the camaraderie is there for that. And sports does build that with other friendships of other mothers who are willing to accept that friendship. There's a lot of moms who don't accept that friendship. And now let me just talk about that for a second. There's a lot of moms who don't accept that friendship if your child is better than their child. As far as what I mean is in like maybe they might kick their butt in sports and points and things, and they don't understand that their child can learn from someone who has a lot more experience in the sport. And so they have sentiment towards that and don't want to befriend you. So it's a lot of in competition sports, there's a lot of competitiveness in the behaviors of mothers that come along with the children. So you just have to be open-minded and be willing to accept, and try to welcome these families into a situation that they don't know much about. They think they may, but they're just upset that their child just got their butt kicked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. Your kid always is making my kid top out, and we don't like y'all because of that. You don't make my kid cry all the time. So
what is natural? It's competition is natural. Why would you like the opposition? I mean, you're not supposed to.
As soon as we get home, because I'm not saying it to black belt mama's face, but as soon as we get home, Seryna, I'm talking about her as her daughter shouldn't even be in the class. I think we need to drug test her daughter. And if she wasn't a black belt, I'd say that to her face. I don't like her or her daughter. Always beating up my daughter.
Listen, I mean, they take it personally.
Yeah.
These sports parents that are just truly in it for the benefit the sport brings to them. For example, I got into plenty of disputes with football moms when I told them that their child, I don't know any child that's gone from middle school to college.
Yep.
I don't know any middle school child that's got a college scholarship. So why are you taking it so seriously? I need you to focus on the right things. And I've met much opposition with that. And I understand because I probably said it in a very rude way, but I meant it at that time.
Yeah.
But they take it so seriously. They take the fun out of the sport sometimes. It's supposed to be a competition. Everyone's not supposed to win. Like, that's the way a sport works.
Yeah. No, I get that. I definitely understand that. Wait a minute, Polina. Something tells me that you got friends, like you got girls' night outs with other moms from sports. Y'all texting each other late at night, sending each other reels. Tell me I'm wrong.
You got me all wrong. You got me all wrong. I'm here for the sport. I'm not there to socialize. I don't have time to socialize. I made 3 of my own humans to socialize with. I'm good. I'm at max capacity. No new friends, please. But there's maybe like 2 people that I do text, and it's only because we have something, our kids have something in common besides the sport. And in this case, it's school or a teacher. And even then it's, it's not frequent, but no, that's why I don't fit in. I'm not those other moms. Oh, we should do this together, or we should make bows for our children. I don't want to make bows for our children, please. No, you can make a bow. I'm good. So sorry, Donato. You read that one really wrong.
Yeah, I was way off on that one. I thought maybe we might have ended on that token, but no, we didn't get there. All right, ladies. I want to say I think every day should be Happy Mother's Day for sports moms. And I say that because you guys are the true number 1 fans of every athlete that I coach, that we all are participants with. So that's kind of the reason why I want to do this. I want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done for these kids to excel. For those who don't know, Seryna, you sent a kid to medical school. You got a son that's about to go out to the West Coast and play basketball. I mean,
yes.
What? And his
State
coach played for the Lakers, won some championships with Kobe and Shaq. And now that guy is going to be coaching your son in basketball. And I also like to see your son dunk. So I love any reels that I could get seeing him dunk on people. That's awesome.
But you know what, Doug? Those little special things is what makes it. Because my oldest, he played football since he was 5. He refs now.
Wow.
My oldest 2 started playing football at 4 and 5 years old. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, he was a little young for the 6U team, but he made it. But he's reffing now. Sports, it brings something different to your life.
Yeah.
And if you can get buy-in in sports, then you can get them to avoid certain downfalls. And honestly, my daughter is the last one I'm trying to get buy-in, and she just started buying in the track. She's a hurdler, she's a jumper. But if you hurdle and you jump, you keep diet, right? So that means you can't do all those extra things. That means you can't smoke. That means you can't drink. That means you can't hang out. Listen, I'm going to find her a sport that requires her to be in the house every Friday and Saturday night.
To that point, Raquel, I was going to get to this a little later, but Seryna, you're on to something. You sent a kid to medical school. You got this other one going to it's not Ivy League, man. It's Cal Berkeley. You're known. It's eluding me right now. They're known. It's a known school, but Cal Berkeley. I mean, congrats to you, mama. But Raquel, you got a kid in the law school. I'm gonna say sports didn't hurt. I mean, I hear a lot of parents be like, "Oh, we got to concentrate on school," and I beg to differ because Raquel, you said Mr. 6'4", 220. Man, that boy is huge.
So,
he was accomplished.
Yeah, he's the one who educated me on sports are important in addition to your academics. You want to be a well-rounded student, not just academically, but physically. He was trying to get into a service academy at the time. He got into West Point and he got into the Naval Academy. He ended up choosing Georgia Tech on an ROTC scholarship. So he graduated from Georgia Tech and then ended up on an ROTC scholarship because of his athletics. And they said that they were very interested, even when he got into West Point, the Naval Academy, every school that interviewed him was very interested in his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling background. So they were he's like, wrestling, jiu-jitsu isn't even in the school like resume. He puts it your resume for when you're applying to scholarships and applying to these schools. Jiu-jitsu ended up being something that all the schools were interested in. Do you know that my son ended up at Georgia Tech and he implemented a SOP, standard operating procedure, for a grappling club to integrate jiu-jitsu into their ROTC program. They didn't have that for hand-to-hand combatives. So he created an SOP for jiu-jitsu and wrestling so that anybody in the campus of Georgia Tech could try to take jiu-jitsu and grappling as part of something to get them integrated and keep their sports going. And so he created that for the school before he left. So that program is still implemented at Georgia Tech right now. Correct.
Mama West. Now, hold on. You had us at the fact that you a black belt as a mama of 3 kids, and then somehow you wrangled one that's 6'4", 220. That's why you got the black belt. You got to be able to control that wild Bronco. But your kid went to one of the smartest kids of the smartest schools, maybe outside of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and MIT. So you took him to Georgia Tech, and he is so smart. He implemented something on a campus of brainiacs. He did something that ain't no one ever thought of before.
Hold on, Doug. He's not just smart. Listen, Georgia Tech, I counsel students from Georgia Tech. And I can tell you, I counsel Georgia college students. So every student at Georgia Tech brings something unique to that campus.
I see.
And the fact that he didn't bring the academic, he brought the whole package.
Yep.
So he showed that you can be academic and physical.
Yep.
And it not be a over the top thing. That's something different. That is the phenomenal part.
So proud of him. I am so proud of him because they continue to use his SOP for the continuing classes. He said there's students that come in there from other countries who, did you know that like in Saudi Arabia and in Abu Dhabi, they mandate jiu-jitsu into their gymnastics programs. Like they have to have that in their gymnasium programs. So these kids that are coming over as exchange students and things, and they just want to continue their grappling and continue doing those things, they use his program that he implemented to continue their grappling, like just for a club or just to keep the exercise going or whatever. He said there's women that show up with the whole, like they have their heads wrapped and their whole gi on and they're training and they're just there to like get that exercise because they grew up learning that sport because they mandated in their school systems.
Wow. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, so he did that. So proud of him. So he implemented his academics with his extracurriculars of his sports and his jiu-jitsu, and he implemented all that and created an SOP. Although he went to go work for the State Department, and then he went on to going into law school at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. So he's there now. Yeah, and he still does it. He's a brown belt now. So
wow. So Polina, you have the youngest kids. What I think the only thing that your kids are doing are beating up other kids in pre-K, and you send them to school with a lunchbox. They actually come home with the same lunchbox. Is that how yours is different?
Yeah, absolutely. People know not to mess with them. Like, oh, she's so fast. You know, we come home with extra snacks sometimes. I don't
Oh.
ask questions. I don't ask questions. I just accept it.
I'm going away from that. Have you all ever heard of the sports mom's prayer? Okay, if you guys will oblige me, Lord, help me remember I'm having fun. The chaos, the rushing, the meals on the run. Don't let us forget the equipment we need and not get delayed so I don't have to speed. May I cheer even if my child is benched or it's raining or snowing and I'm cold and drenched. And may I not right in mid-game stop to think, oh no, I forgot it's my day for drinks. For I know it's important to show my support, to be there for my kids as their youth is so short. I thank you for having this time with them, Lord, for being a sports mom is its own reward. What say you?
I think that's a lie. I'm sorry. I don't feel rewarded. I think they're rewarded. And my goal is to set a foundation for them of healthy living, success, working hard, all of that. I don't see this as fun. The fun part is yelling at people at the game. Me driving them there is not fun.
It's a full-time job. It's another full-time job.
It's not fun. I sit in the car. I tried to grade papers at a track meet one time. I almost passed out. I couldn't see my laptop from the glare of the sun. Then I was sweating. My laptop's overheating. It was too much. That's not fun. Okay. That is necessity for my babies. That's what I call it.
Absolutely. And then all the laundry that you have to do, the packing up, making sure you have snacks. Also snack duty for other kids. Snacks. That's my least favorite part because you know what?
And please
why can't we just buy our own stuff?
The fun is being quiet in the corner and when my kid someone's butt and they're like, whose kid is that?
Oh, I don't say anything. I just walk next to them and then cheer for my son. So they know that's my child. No, it's been years. I need them to understand now. Okay, he's old now. I need them to understand after a decade of seeing them.
Okay, I got one here that I'm very curious about. There's this lady, Amy Pennington. She encouraged her daughter to make her own decision about college, even if it meant playing for a team that the family, the Penningtons, had once viewed as a rival. But now, Amy is a proud Oklahoma State softball fan, even though there was never any allegiance. Mama Muhammad, hold on now. Because we've had conversations with you before, I know you from Philly.
Yes.
But your boy going to the West Coast, West Side.
He is.
So when you hear West Side and you from Philly, you all right? You okay?
Listen, my allegiance is to the people that showed the value and acknowledged the value of my child. And Philly did not do that. Neither did Jersey. So my son goes to the people that respect his talent, his ability, and are letting him play as the person he is. That is what I have learned as they get older. Every school does not allow that. Yeah. Some schools go there with a plan to change them, to bulk them up, to add, like, of course they're going to add weight to him, but he's 180 pounds, 6'1". He has 3% body fat. 3, okay? Oof. So they're going to beef him up. But I also like Cal because they have a chef dedicated to athletes. Oh. They know your calorie count, they know your goals, and they prepare meals based on that. Plus they have academics. So I'm going to go with who respects my son for the fact that he was a 4.0 plus athlete and has not attended school since 10th grade. He's been traveling internationally. So was Josiah, my oldest son. He graduated high school a year early. He's graduating college a year early. But he graduated with an associate's coming out of high school. Wow. Associates in college because he had those credits. So I value the people that value my child.
Yeah.
I don't have loyalty that way to a state.
So then, Polina, we know you from the West Coast. What if your kid wants to go to New York City or something? And want to go to Long Island University? Come on. You don't want to be East Coast, do you?
I'm here for the free education, for the NIL deals, and my daughter promised me a green car. I don't know, she said Porsche, Rover, whatever, something fancy. So I'm here for it. You know, why am I going to be like, oh, no, you have to go to the West Coast? I'm not even from this country. Where's my allegiance lying? I'm flexible. I said, what's my opportunity? What's the best thing you're going to get for me? Oh, I got to go to Texas? Sure. Georgia, whatever. What are you offering me? So that's the approach that I take for them. So what's the best for them?
Okay.
Now their dad though, I don't know. He might feel some type of way, but that's a him problem.
Polina, you're stronger than him. Don't worry about it. You're bigger, stronger, and you have more pull.
I know that. I don't know if he knows that though.
He doesn't need to know. He'll understand eventually.
Sheesh. I'm telling you.
Honestly, Doug, the schools that you think that you look for, they're not always looking for you. And the way sports is working now, honestly, the young adults can move through the portals and they can transfer and they can do this. I'm not going to be locked into a school. I told my son I'm not buying another t-shirt until he's been there for a period of time. Okay. No t-shirts, no paraphernalia, because you never know. The way this world is working now, you have to look out for the best interest of your child.
No, that I understand. I get that. Okay, how about this one then? How much have you learned from having sporting kids? So you said I know you're coaching track, Seryna. Your boys played football. I don't know if you played football as a kid, and you got a basketball son.
Track all day, every day.
How much have you learned in football? Because you didn't play growing up, right? You weren't.
No, but I was a football fan. Girls didn't play football back then. I mean, it was no flag there. And then they did that whole BS with the lingerie football league somewhere when I was growing up. And I almost lost it. Oh my gosh. Who runs around in their undies?
No.
Trying to catch a ball.
Nobody.
I don't know anybody that does that.
You're just going to get a bunch of rug burn.
I don't understand. But I've learned that the balance is what I need. My youngest son is not. I mean, is he athletic? He is. But he is so selective with what he does. If you tell him you're going to practice twice that week, don't add an extra practice because he's not coming. He said, you told me twice. I factored for 2. But he also is my one with the job. So what I've learned is to make them well-rounded, regardless of how that is. He is my child that wants to grow up. Polina, you'll find this funny. When he was small, he didn't want his wife to sweat. He couldn't marry any woman that sweats. And I didn't know what to tell him because we all do.
Man.
He said she can work out, but she can't be all sweaty in front of me. And I was like, you know what? We'll work on that later. But it showed me that you could be well-rounded in different ways. Academics is not the only. But buy-in is important because they get sidetracked very easy with social media and all of these other things out in the world.
Ladies, I'm curious about an item here. I want to know what face you give people when you hear somebody in a crowd talking about your baby. Polina, we'll start with you because Seryna looked like you're going to get the face and you're about to hear something. Seryna, I just wanted the face, so I'm going to let her cool down. We're going to start with you, Polina. What's that face look like? I know it's the don't you talk about my baby face, but what we talking about? Oh, it looks like that. Oh, okay.
It's the Russian blonde face because I used to have blonder hair before kids. But no, I just sit there and I listen. I listen to that's why I said RBF. But yeah, I just started like, oh, the girl with orange shoes. She's just like, yeah, she goes so fast back and forth, or like, man, that girl can hit anything that gets thrown at her. And so I just listen to it, and like, one, because I don't want to engage with people. That takes too much time. I'm an introvert. I don't have enough energy to do all that, and then have that same energy for my kids. I need to preserve it for the people that matter. So I just listen, and I'm like, okay. And then later on, I'll just go and be like, okay, to my husband, what'd you hear? Here's what I heard. This person said that. This person said that. Okay, yeah. So we got the same things from both sides of the fields. But because also it's nothing shocking. Kind of like once you've been to the top, you know what it looks like. You don't have to get surprised every single time. For other parents, it's like, oh my gosh, she just scored a wonderful goal. Like, okay, well, I scored 3 goals in a game before, like congrats on your 1 goal. But me engaging with you about my kid it's gonna be like, yeah, because also when people are like, wow, they're so good, and they ask you, does your kid do any other sport? That's where they went wrong. They asked you if your kid does any other sport, and then you say, yeah. Well, what did they do? And then you list it, and they're like, well, how do you have time for that? So then they just realize that they reevaluate their life, and you just made them feel bad, and it just went downhill, and it's like, I don't think they're gonna talk to me anymore, which is maybe what you wanted, but yeah, sometimes you just sit and nod.
Watch this, Polina. Watch this. Yo, Philly, we looking at your kid. Your kid keeps turnover, trying to do these fancy Allen Iverson passes because his mom's from Philly, your kid need to go to the bench. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? I know you're gonna turn around.
I can say that my child has never had that experience, none of them. But what I can also say is I've been on the receiving side of your son plays too much. But then when we don't win, then it was your son didn't do enough. So I brought that to their attention. I said, so damned if he does, damned if he don't. I said, so if he plays more, you're angry. If he doesn't play, you're still angry. I am a very vocal parent at games and track meets, but I don't call out specific children. I will never say a specific child's name or jersey number or anything like that. The benefit is now that Jay is over 18, he used to be the youngest person on the team. He is no longer. So y'all are grown men. I can yell whatever I want at you. Okay. So I feel like I progressed, but I've been on that side. And when you have a talented child, you meet a lot of hating parents. You meet a lot of parents that feel like it's unfair and you really can't win. For those parents, you have to just be quiet because they don't care either way. For the other parents, all I do is cheer for my son. I call my son by name. I might call some of the others by name, but I might call them by number. So my problem is sometimes I respond to some of the comments. Like they'll say, oh, he can't go right. He only goes left. And I'll say, oh, watch this. So I am responding to them, but I'm not doing it directly. Now, if they respond back to me in a negative way, I'm going to say, talk to your baby. He seems to have the problem. So I'm going to say something slick. Okay. But I'm going to say something slick because I'm around a lot of basketball dads. So I have to pull my tongue because I know that I'm not the one that's going to be facing that. It's DJ. My husband is going to be facing that. But I will tell you in a minute, don't talk to me. Talk to them. And that is my go-to. If somebody says something about my child, you saw that too? I'm very, it's fun. Or I'll be like, oh, you're talking to me. Oh, okay, I'm watching the game. But sometimes I have to, because other than that, it is a lot of negative that gets fired at you when you have talented children. And when you have children, honestly, nobody realizes the work that they put in. My son used to be at the gym in high school and middle school at 6 a.m. He was getting dropped off on the way when my husband went to work because he was putting up hundreds of shots every morning. Nobody knows those things. Nobody knows that he was at LA Fitness lifting weights all during COVID to maintain and getting up shots. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I feel the need to defend them by reminding people they work hard. Okay. This didn't just come to them. And I think that shuts up a lot of parents.
Yeah. All right, ladies, I want to know, when did you all graduate from Sports Mom University? Well, what do you class of, Polina? Class of what? Because there's a lot of moms out there. They're trying to figure out when I'm going to do this. And there's a class or something. Y'all got these degrees from Sports Mom University, right? Like the PhD.
I'm degree incomplete currently.
But you've already paid for it, Polina. So you already got the credit. I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. They didn't tell me that in the disclaimer.
My Sports Mom University came from marrying an athlete. My husband was, I met him while we were in college, and he was at the University of Missouri as a wrestler. And then he decided to join the Army on the all-Army wrestling freestyle and Greco team. So I got to live in Europe for 7 years, where we got to travel all over the different countries and watch him wrestle. And so once we were married and had children, he said my children will wrestle as well. And I didn't have that. I was kind of thrown into that mom university of raising children into a sports atmosphere. I wasn't raised that way. I had parents who did not raise me into that mentality. So I was just a track person. So my brother played football and I played track, and it wasn't anything with that. But with my husband, he was like, no, our children will wrestle. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. All right, whatever you want to do. But as far as, I learned a lot from my spouse coming into it. So if he felt like it was a good route for my children, I went along with it, because you know what? Exercise and diet and being active was important to me anyways, not just being sedentary. It wasn't, if they're going to do a sport, fine, okay, they'll do wrestling, their father knows best about wrestling. So for me, I came in a different aspect of, from the mom way, was through my spouse. And the father was the one who was the professional on that aspect. So sometimes you have to give leeway to that, I guess, you know. I don't know anything about wrestling. So now, fast forward 15 years later, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu myself. So I do understand now. So if I could tell any mom in the future, please put your children into jiu-jitsu or wrestling, you know, some kind of grappling sport that would help them protect themselves later.
That's awesome. Polina, what do you mean your degree incomplete? I don't understand. Are you saying that a sports mom could fail, like they could flunk out?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's always stuff you're learning, right? If you join a new sport, there's stuff you have to know. Like I didn't know baseball, softball, or football up until a certain point in my life, just because of my virtue of where I come from. So I didn't know. So once my kids got into softball, I had to learn what that means. Like why the ball's not soft. I don't understand why it's called softball. Like, let's start there. What is this extra equipment I have to buy just because of a different gender? Like, let's start there. So, and then I don't know what I don't know. I'm sure once you get older, there's other criterias or other things you learn. You know, I didn't know. Nobody told me that, you're going to have to be a mom on the go, or how much uniforms are going to cost. So just things, degree incomplete.
Still learning. I'm going to tell you, this is, I think, going to be beneficial for a lot of, not just sports mom. There's some sports dads out there that's going to love what we went through here, because I have some friends that are pregnant right now, and there's a lot of dads that are trying to figure out. One is in the Atlanta area with you there, Seryna, and we play basketball together, and he's always asking me questions. So I think I'm still going to recommend this to him, because I know he wants his daughter to play multiple sports and have opportunities. And then again, that'll give him some confidence, like Black Belt Mama said, that he can swing his wife into sports. But I want to take the time to thank you, ladies. I really enjoyed this. I learned some things. And then, of course, I also learned that I'm not always right, because I thought I read Polina right there, and that was wrong. And then Philly Mama, I thought I was going to get some expletives out of you by besmirching the turnovers of Allen Iverson. And then I got out of here without making Black Belt Mama want to choke me out, even though she's about 3 states away from me. But I still was trying.
She can still get you. She can still get you. I think it's something with that jiu-jitsu.
Not tonight, though. She can't get me tonight. There's no flights.
No, they
out.
don't travel at night. They don't travel at night.
But is she really in Georgia? How do you know she's not already here?
Oh,
where you are?
I like it, Donato. I like it. She has a point.
I didn't think about that. Well, that's all right. That's why I did it the right way, to not make her mad. That's what I was doing there. But thank you again, ladies. Y'all know we got to come back. I have 2 pages. We did 3 of the 5 pages that I have. We didn't get to all the points. So we got to come back, ladies. I got more at a later date I think we got to talk to. So if you guys will have me, I'd like to do this again.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.